Hello and welcome to this week's edition of LCAT News. I'm your host, Jen Carlos. With no meetings on the calendar until the school committee meets on August 6th, East Longmeadow settled into its midsummer lull this week. But with school due to start on the 28th, work continues on several projects across the school district, including the replacement of exterior doors at Meadowbrook and a facelift in the cafeteria at ELHS.
I'm Tacey Martinick. My company is loveyourlunchroom.com. We renovate and do makeovers in public schools all over the country. Today we're in East Longmeadow, Massachusetts at the East Longmeadow High School, and we are doing a cafeteria makeover for both sides of this cafeteria. Actually, I met Joan Hootnan back in 2003, and we made signs for her way back in 2003, and then she retired and Lori Paul came in, and she was serious about doing the makeover. So I came out, I did a site visit, I take a look at everything, took measurements, then I met the principal and the vice principal, and then we started the design process. We work all of our graphics into, it's about 13 pages, and work all the graphics of every aspect, elevations, floor plans, and get all that together. And then once that's all together and all approved, we go into fabrication and we pick a date to come on. This is the week that we are coming on site, and we just finished all of our base painting, and now we have started the graphics. Will be done tonight, and the graphics look really great. I'm an artist, and I've done murals, over 1,000 murals in my lifetime. I always was in the restaurant business and always renovating restaurants, and I had a sign shop and graphics, and we would do all kinds of food and so when I met up with my mentor, Jane Ford, actually, she was a food service director, and she just said, we need stuff in our cafeterias, and I just saw them as little restaurants, and I'm like, wow, this is great. So I address them as little restaurants. They serve thousands of kids a day in 2 hours. It's amazing what they do. And it's just this hidden industry that nobody really knows about. They have rules and regulations that's really, really important. And so I just got really involved and said, look, you guys need signs, you need graphics, you need to get pulled in and up to date, and there's a lot of schools that need renovations. So we don't do a lot of new schools, we do a lot of renovations of old schools.
At Meadowbrook, construction has been moving along, most notably transforming the main entrance to provide greater energy efficiency as well as significant improvements to security. A new entry vestibule will require all visitors to pass through a second set of doors before entering the building. Workers have begun replacing the first sections of the original windows with new framing for the insulating panels and thermal glazing. The renovations were funded through the Massachusetts School Building Authority's Accelerated Repair Program, with a little over 50% of the cost reimbursed by the state. School officials expect the new entry, cafeteria, kitchen, and office glazing to be in place before the start of school. The window replacement in the classroom wings is due to continue into the fall, with work being done at night in order to minimize disruption. A second project approved for next year will involve replacement of the building's roof. In part 2 of our interview, ELHS Principal Gina Flanagan says the makeover theme is reflected as well in a new approach to the way students will start the school year.
Typically, students, teachers, administrators, we're all excited about the first day of school. And then what happens is slowly it starts to wane as we get into the content, we review the curriculum. And we just felt this year we really wanted to keep that momentum throughout the first 3 days of school. And so what we're asking our teachers to do is, instead of on the first day cracking out the syllabus and getting right into what you know and what you don't know, is spend the first 3 days of school getting to know your students and having them get to know you, building that rapport in the classroom, building a community of trust, a community where we're all in this together kind of scenario. I believe will be, it's capital in terms of getting students ready to learn. So when students are feeling comfortable, they're in an environment where it's supportive, they tend to be better at the academic piece of it. And so it's a little different, but we think it's worth it. And so the first 3 days, the first 2 days are going to be just building that community within your individual classrooms. And then on the third day, it's going to be really exciting. We're going to bring in a guest speaker to bring the whole school community together and really talk to them about the importance of our community and how we need to be supportive of one another. So that will be like the opener. And then we're going to break up the grades so that the ninth graders and through the 12th graders will have separate activities geared for their age group. So for example, as you can imagine, the ninth grade year, it's all about transition. It's about learning, the Spartan way and how the school works. So a lot of their activities will be focused on those kind of components. The 10th grade, it's a year where we see a lot of students struggle with decision making and the fitting in, the peer pressure. So a lot of their activities will be about, how to make good choices. 11th grade is an important year because they're getting ready for college and career. So that will be a lot on, interviewing and resume building and getting them ready for that next step. And for our seniors, we just want to make it fun, and we also want them to understand that they've had a role here for the past 4 years and that they're going out into the world and it's time to make another legacy. So we're taking them over to Pine Knoll and doing a lot of team building activities with the seniors just to kind of get them in the frame of mind that, that they've been in this together for 4 years, and we want them to continue that camaraderie that they have as a class and then kind of build some relationships. So as the year progresses, we can get closer to them, they can get closer to us, and that we can kind of guide them the right way. So so those are the activities, and then we're going to have a full school picnic. And we've got a DJ coming, we've got fun games that we're going to play with the students, we have a picnic lunch, and it's really just all about setting the tone for a positive school year so that it's not something kids dread, but they really are feeling supported and valued by our staff. So I am so excited, really excited about it.
Families whose children plan to take the bus to school are reminded again that this Wednesday, August 1st, is the deadline to register at the Central Office for School Transportation. Transportation Coordinator Becky Becker says that even though busing services have been contracted this year with the Lower Pioneer Valley Educational Collaborative, most students will not notice any difference in routes and drivers or even the buses themselves. On Thursday, a handful of ELHS students heading off to college next month took the opportunity to share some oldies with oldies at the Pleasant View Senior Center.
Yes, I'm always true to you, darling, in my way. Think someday I'm going to murder the bugler. Someday they're going to find him dead. I'll amputate his reveille and step upon it heavily and spend the rest of my life in bed.
The group performed their medley of old show tunes, including a sing-along to an enthusiastic audience. Noah Secondo, who graduated in June and will be entering Harvard College in the fall, says the idea evolved out of his enjoyment of music and the willingness of the group of friends to put a show together for the seniors at Pleasant View.
So I really like listening to the old big band music and that type of music, and I was just talking with a few of the kids from the chorus, the band, and the different theater kids, and we all kind of have a few favorites from that era, and each of them picked some of the songs. We had a list of about 90 to 100, and then we narrowed that down to, I think now it's at 13. So once we created that set, we decided we wanted to perform it somewhere, and we felt like the East Long Meadow Senior Center was the perfect place to do it.
There's no people like show people. They smile when they are low. Even with a turkey that you know will you may be stranded out in the cold. Still you wouldn't treat it like sacred gold. Let's go on with my show.
On Tuesday, July 31st from 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. is another edition of Cafe Concerts. This week, take a lunch break at the library and enjoy watching Blondie on the big screen. Light refreshments will be served, sponsored by the Friends. On Wednesday, August 1st at 6 p.m. is the event There's No Such Thing as a Bad Bug. Join Janet Dolder as she talks about common pests and beneficial insects that are found in the home landscape, how to recognize them, and how to encourage some while discouraging others. This event is sponsored by the EL Garden Club and registration is required. Finally, on Wednesday, August 1st from 6:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. is a BYOB book group meeting. Leave suggestions for read-alikes or a new author to try. No registration is required, light refreshments will be served. And finally, with July soon coming to an end, we decided to stop by the Apple Place to celebrate National Ice Cream Month. The Apple Place has been a family-run fruit farm in East Longmeadow since 1971, and the property has been farmed since the early 1800s. The farm stand is open from mid-July until December, where varieties of over 50 apples are sold, along with peaches and pears. In 2011, the farm opened an on-site bakery which makes pies, cider donuts, and a variety of other baked goods. But what makes the Apple Place one of the hottest spots in town is their famous ice cream. Mass Live has included the farm in their top 5 ice cream shops in Western Massachusetts list. We spoke with Cindy Bellarose to discuss more about the shop's history and what makes it so unique, along with delicious.
I grew up here at this exact house, and actually my father planted all the apple trees here when I was young. So he passed away like maybe 10 years ago. I decided to keep the farm going rather than have it developed into houses. And I went to Johnson & Wales for culinary school. I was a chef for a number of years. I had my own restaurant. So I thought, maybe it would work if I put a bakery here. So we put the bakery in maybe 9 years ago. And 4 years ago, we decided to open the ice cream shop.
And with so many flavors on the menu, we asked about their classic favorites and new flavors to come.
Yeah, so our number one seller is salted caramel truffle, followed by Kahlua fudge brownie. And then one of the new ones is graham cracker crunch, which is like a graham cracker ice cream with little chocolatey crunchy bits in it. People seem to really like that. All of our ice cream comes from Maple Valley Farm in Hadley, and it's super premium. It's very high in butterfat. They use all local ingredients for the fruit. They use, local strawberries, local blueberries. They use fair trade coffee, fair trade chocolate, so it's just super nice people to work with, super good quality stuff.
To follow up, we asked about the ever eclectic antiques shop located directly across from the dairy bar.
Actually, those are 2 friends of mine that kind of collect those things and sell them here. But my father was a collector of antiques, so that's kind of all the things that you see around here, the gas pump, all the things hanging, tractor seats. You'll see a lot of tractor seats all over the place here. He collected those, so we put them to use and made them into seats, and we hang them on the wall. We put them like everywhere. So, yeah, it's just the house was built in 1819, so it just kind of goes with the general era of the house,
And as for events, the farm is hosting several with the library and on its own for the upcoming season.
We do some yoga things. We try and do some just different things to get people up to the farm. We're doing a corn maze in the fall again this year, so it's going to have a dinosaur theme this year. Have a lot of cool plans for that. It's just getting people here. We don't really advertise, so word of mouth is big. So doing the events is really a good way for us to expose people to the farm and therefore keep it going, hopefully.
Finally, we asked how the peaceful environment of the farm can help people disconnect from technology.
I don't know exactly why, but people tend to not be on their cell phones here. We have a lot of old-fashioned games down there that people play. So families are actually here interacting, playing those games together, sitting and chatting. There's not a lot of cell phone usage. Nobody's out here on their computer all day. So I think that's good. To me, that's a positive thing for the town.
That's it for this week's edition of LCAT News. I'm Jen Carlos. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.